Make this Valentine's Day magical. See the Grammy Award-winning Estonian Philharmonic Chamber Choir live in concert in Phoenix. Experience this world-renowned group in person while helping Classical Arizona PBS continue to record and broadcast the finest local classical music performances. Make your Valentine's Day plans now. Get your tickets at azpbs.org/box office. Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
PBS Online. Share, tweet, watch.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
You've seen plenty of nature documentaries, but you've never seen one like this. Mechanical creatures with hidden cameras give us an intimate look at our favorite animals who are more like us than we ever imagined. Keep an eye out for Spy in the Wild on Nature.
Wednesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
What's wrong with our batteries? They're critical for electric vehicles and fighting climate change.
We need renewable energy storage.
I'm David Pogue.
Can they be better? It's still on! More powerful? Cleaner? The search for the super battery on Nova.
Wednesday night at 8 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Retire like you mean it. Meritage Active Adult Communities.
Whitfill Nursery, proud to support Arizona PBS, a Valley tradition since 1946. Over 200 acres of Arizona-grown trees, citrus, and palms. Complete custom design and installation. And Whitfill Nursery still does the digging. WhitfillNursery.com.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Thousands flocked to airports across the country this weekend to protest President Donald Trump's latest executive order. What Arizona officials had to say about the refugee ban.
And there's been a near 20% spike in U.S. citizenship, what is responsible for the rapid increase in naturalization.
Plus, what one center is doing to provide treatment for Hispanics with Parkinson's disease.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm on Arizona PBS. I'm Zach Pokleb.
And I'm Emma Lockhart. Thank you for joining us.
Arizona's members of Congress are weighing in after a deeply divisive refugee and immigrant travel ban imposed by President Trump this weekend. The ban targeted travelers from 7 predominantly Muslim nations and triggered protests across the country. Today, Press Secretary Sean Spicer defended the executive order.
I think what I want to be clear about is that since becoming president, he's continued to take steps through executive order and otherwise to make sure that this country is as safe as it can be and that we're ahead of every threat.
Also today, former President Barack Obama expressed that he is uplifted by the demonstrations that have been held in reaction to the ban. The Attorney General of Washington State filed a lawsuit against Trump for the executive order, and cities across the U.S. are increasing security around mosques following a shooting that killed 6 people during a prayer service in Quebec City, Canada. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Fingert is in our Washington bureau after hearing from Arizona lawmakers on the controversy.
Good evening. Cronkite News sat down with Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs today, who defended the executive order. But Arizona Senator John McCain said yesterday on CBS's Face the Nation that the ban will do more harm than good.
If your main idea is to protect Americans, then this is probably a fairly temperate measure, because it's going to be a short-term measure. And it's going to be more of an evaluation, the way I read the executive order, than a permanent ban.
I think the effect will probably, in some areas, give ISIS some more propaganda. But I'm very concerned about our effect on the Iraqis right now.
All 4 Arizona Democrats came out against the executive order. I sat outside Senator John McCain's office today for 4 hours, but he did not come out. We were trying to ask him more questions on his feelings on this executive order. For now, live in our Washington newsroom, Tyler Fingert, Cronkite News.
As Arizona delegates are playing large roles from Washington, other representatives like Congressman Ruben Gallego are joining in the rallies from home. The congressman was at Sky Harbor yesterday taking part in the protest against Trump's refugee order.
We must fight them on every step.
Gallego was joined with Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton and hundreds of people at Terminal 4. The protest was ignited by Trump's executive order to stop all refugees from entering the U.S. for 120 days. Some travelers in the U.S. were detained and unable to fly in or out of the country. Protests are still occurring in airports around the world.
A Syrian family living in Phoenix is separated from relatives who are still in the Middle East. Cronkite News reporter Anthony Marroquin tracked them down in Washington, D.C., where they expressed their frustration with the ban.
Jamal Saleh arrived in the United States just last year after a 3-year process that saw him and his family flee from Syria to Jordan before arriving in the United States.
The suffering of the Syrian people. Very little people have suffered that.
Jamal Saleh, his wife and children escaped from Syria, but his siblings are still in danger.
I'm scared.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Friday, halting the refugee program for 120 days and banning travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries for 90 days. Syrians are banned indefinitely.
It gives Americans a strong sense that there's a firm hand at the wheel.
Proponents argue that the current vetting procedures are inadequate and leave room for terrorists to sneak into the country. But opponents argue that's not the case.
It's a little hard for me to envision what more could be done because they already go through 4 or 5 layers of security screening.
LENA ARKAWI, a spokeswoman for the American Relief Coalition for Syria, a relief group for Syrian refugees, agrees and says the campaign descriptions of refugees shows the targeted nature of this order.
These are human beings with a story. These are people who have lives. We're not Skittles.
For Saleh, there's not much he can do for his siblings.
I'm sad when I wake up to go to work at night, but I'm grateful because my family here is safe from the war.
All he can do is make sure his immediate family has food on the table and a safe place to sleep. ARKAWI also said that she's heard of people being confused over whether this means that they're going to get deported or not. The executive order does not kick anyone out of the country. It only keeps those outside from coming back in until the White House decides that it has enough information to vet refugees properly. In Washington, D.C., Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
Tougher immigration policies in President Trump's administration has led to an increase in people seeking to become U.S. citizens both in Arizona and across the country. Reporter Nicole Gutierrez explains why a husband and wife became citizens after living for more than 20 years in the Valley.
Vilma and Santos Mojica fled a civil war in El Salvador to come to Phoenix more than 20 years ago. But they waited until last year to become U.S. citizens. They were unsure whether they would be thrown out of the country under new policies to crack down on immigrants.
Algo miedo.
Well, a little scared, maybe because this was the president that was going to stay. I said maybe with this coming president, they would throw us out, and that's why my husband encouraged me to become a citizen.
Attorney MARYSOL Angulo says residents that are here legally have gone into the Hernandez Global firm to figure out their options for citizenship.
I think they are partly fearful of what can come. We're not talking about just a new president, but we're talking about a new cabinet. We're talking about new people in positions of power, like the Secretary of Homeland Security, for example, and what can change in the area of immigration. So I think people are feeling apprehensive. People are getting informed.
According to data from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, there has been a 20% increase from 2015 to 2016 in the naturalization applications. The Central Arizonians for Sustainable Economy has noticed a difference.
Back in 2015, we completed, for example, 42 applications. And then this past year, we completed 92 applications. So we more than doubled our applications that we turned in from 2015.
The Mojicas were 2 of the 92 applications, and their request was quickly granted.
Now that I'm a citizen, I feel more trusted. We have one more right to be in this country.
In Phoenix, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
Our Cronkite News team is dedicated to covering this immigration debate as the Trump policies move forward. For full multimedia coverage, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Names for the open Supreme Court seat are in the air. President Trump tweeted that he is going to be announcing his choice by 8 p.m. tomorrow at the White House. The seat became vacant after the passing of Justice Scalia last February. Judges for the Supreme Court include Thomas Hardiman, Neil Gorsuch, and William H. Pryor Jr. Gorsuch and Pryor were both nominated to the Supreme Court of Appeals by President Bush. All of these potential justices are under the age of 60. Trump may have to appoint another judge within his presidency due to the aging of the current bench.
And keeping to his cadence of executive orders, Donald Trump has signed an order today focused on business. The order says that for every new business regulation taken, 2 other regulations must be cut. This has some small business leaders very excited.
I'll be taking an action later this morning. If you'd like, you can join me at the signing to begin our effort to dramatically reduce federal regulations. And we'll be reducing them big league and their damaging effects on our small businesses, our economy, our entrepreneurial spirit.
Donald Trump is the first person has put his money where his mouth is, stepped up, and is doing something incredible for small business. It was a great meeting, and we look forward to working with him.
The White House will need to make the final decision on these regulation cuts. Prior to this new executive order, a temporary freeze on new regulations was already in place.
Coming up, a rally outside of the Capitol.
2 Arizona House bills highlight the LGBTQ community. Activists gathered to build the support for potential anti-discriminatory laws. What these new laws mean for Arizona businesses.
And we'll take you to meet some young Arizona advocates who took part in the National March for Life.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
I was at the post office mailing something. I asked the clerk, how do they let you know if your son is wounded? It was very hard for me to form those words, but I just felt, I've got to know. I just felt so suspended in space and anxiety. And the man said, now, don't worry. They'll tell you.
A rally of sorts at the state capitol today to offer support for 2 bills pushing for protection from discrimination regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or veteran status. Reporter Ashley Holcomb heard from the lawmakers introducing the bills.
State Senate Minority Leader Katie Hobbs and House Minority Leader Rebecca Rios introduced the legislation that would prohibit discrimination based on veteran status, gender identity, and sexual orientation.
People have lost their jobs, their livelihood, their quality of life because of who they are, and that continues to happen in our state every day.
Organizations such as GoDaddy Arizona support the bill, and Vice President of Diversity and Engagement, Katie Van Horn, assured that employees do not have to worry about being fired simply because of who they are.
At GoDaddy, our employees know they are evaluated on their performance. Nothing more, nothing less.
One community transgender outreach coordinator, Ashton Skinner, has a very personal tie with this bill and is not sure if he will stay in Arizona after finishing graduate school.
This is not a state that looks great for the long term for me without this bill.
Democrats have introduced bills in both chambers of the legislature. They are Senate Bill 1320 and House Bill 2364. At the state capitol, Ashley Holcomb, Cronkite News.
So far, the Senate bill has been assigned to the Commerce and Public Safety Committee, but has not had a hearing yet. The House bill has not been assigned to any committees. Similar legislation was introduced last year, but went nowhere.
Organizers for this year's March for Life say they were encouraged by the number of young people attending the event in the nation's capital. Cronkite News reporter Z Zung caught up with some young anti-abortion activists from Arizona.
For the nation's capital, it's a typically cold and windy January day. But that doesn't kill the enthusiasm of tens of thousands of people who showed up at the 44th Annual March for Life protest. They marched to defund Planned Parenthood and to overturn Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court ruling that recognized a woman's right to get an abortion. But for Mary from Glendale, Arizona, the march is much more personal.
My father wanted to abort me, and then my mom left, and I wouldn't be here today if she hadn't thought the things she did, and she wasn't as strong of a woman as she is.
Mary is just one of many young faces in the march. Millennials who participated in the event call themselves the pro-life generation.
We're the pro-life generation, as a lot of people like to say, and hopefully we're the generation that has the power to do something about this.
Jean Mancini, president of the March for Life, is feeling optimistic about the movement's chances under President Donald Trump.
Trump ran on a pro-life campaign, and thus far we've been delighted with the decisions that are life-related in the White House.
As evidence of that support, Vice President Mike Pence addressed this year's crowd. The first time in the march's 44-year history that a sitting vice president has appeared in person. In Washington, D.C., Z Zeng, Cronkite News.
What is putting Hispanics at a higher risk for Parkinson's disease?
Coming up next on Cronkite News. Getting a closer look at the disease and possible barriers to treatment for Latino Parkinson's patients.
And we are seeing hardly any clouds in the skies with a high of 75. I'll have your full 7-day forecast coming up next.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
Some families in Phoenix already dealing with a Parkinson's diagnosis have an additional barrier to treatment. Chloe Ranshaw reports one center is taking a dual language approach to treating the disease.
My mom has been a singer, since she was little. She used to sing with her sister in Mexico, where she's from.
But 10 years ago, CORINA, Villalobos' singing slowed, and other activities receded after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a disease that affects movement in the central nervous system.
The world came on top of me. It was something terrible.
According to a study from the University of Missouri and the American Parkinson's Disease Association, Hispanics and whites develop the disease twice as often as blacks and Asians. But according to Claudia Martinez from the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center in Phoenix, some Hispanics will face a language barrier as well.
So that's why we believe that it is very important not only to provide services for Latinos with Parkinson's, but also to educate the Hispanic community about this disease.
The program started small in 2007 to offer care to those diagnosed with Parkinson's, including support groups and education classes. But it's grown over the years to offer a cultural-specific approach for Hispanics, like painting workshops and a Spanish language choir.
We not only translate services, but we kind of reshape them and even develop new services.
People flock here to the center from places as far as Chihuahua, Mexico, so much that coordinators have turned to the internet to broadcast webinars to reach places even further.
It's important because you know what's coming, you know what stage they're on, and you know that if she freezes, it's okay because she's gonna keep moving in a little bit. And now she does this for fun.
Brendan says her mother is moving better and looking to improve her mobility even more on her own.
Pareciera que el destino me hiciera recordar.
She started writing poems to keep her handwriting skills strong.
The reason is my daughters, my family. It's everything.
Fighting to maintain normalcy until a cure is found. In Phoenix, Chloe Ranshaw, Cronkite News.
You can help those affected by Parkinson's. On February 11th, the Parkinson Network of Arizona will host a marathon called Walk the Fight and Run the Distance to benefit the Muhammad Ali Parkinson's Center. The sunshine is back after last week's cloudy skies.
Katie Fowler is tracking the rising temperatures in the Cronkite Weather Center.
That's right. Taking a look at Flagstaff, those storms have left beautiful snow-capped mountains up in the high country, but the weather is moving up, and we are seeing some higher temperatures here in the valley, mid-70s and high 70s even, 77 in Glendale, 73 in Maricopa, and 72 in Casa Grande. And tracking those temperatures in the next 24 hours, going home tonight around 8 p.m., having dinner, it's going to be a little chilly, but still not as cold as we've been seeing it. 62 in Phoenix, 58 in Cave Creek, and 57 in Maricopa. And going into tonight and into tomorrow morning, waking up and going to work at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., Phoenix is going to be 46, Surprise 45, so it will still be a little cold. You'll want to turn the heat on in your car maybe, depending where you're going. So we'll still be a little cold, but going into the afternoon, those temperatures jump back up to the low 70s into the mid 70s. So we are seeing some beautiful weather in this Arizona winter. And going into your 7-day forecast, we see 74, 75, and 76 in the next 3 days. So it's, again, going to be beautiful with lows of 46 and 49. So it's still going to need a coat. But going into the rest of your week, we're going to see a little bit of cloud cover, but it shouldn't be giving you any precipitation. So go outside, walk the dog, hang out with your kids. It should be great weather for you. 77 is going to be a warm point on Friday. And then the lows are going to be jumping back up into the lower 50s. And but otherwise, we'll see clear skies all throughout. Katie Fowler, Cronkite Weather.
How about a little eco-couture in your spring wardrobe?
Coming up on Cronkite News, a fashion incubator is bringing local and sustainable manufacturing to Tempe. How that could bring unique clothes and save the environment on your next shopping trip.
Fascinating. Baby, I'm howling for you.
sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Mockingbird, can't you see? Little girl got a hold on me like wow. Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history buffs.
Enjoy.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe
It's a type of pollution you likely haven't thought about. Fabric from unwanted clothes filling our landfills. Now a fashion incubator is bringing sustainable manufacturing to Tempe.
The fashion industry is literally the second most polluting industry on the planet, next to the oil industry.
Angela Johnson, the co-founder of the Fabric Building in Tempe, is trying to change that. She built a place for local designers to produce their clothing. She says locally made fashion is more unique, of higher quality, and is produced in smaller quantities, so there's less waste.
People think their clothing is disposable because they only spent $10 for it, then they can throw it out in a couple weeks when they're not wearing it anymore, and they fill up the landfills like crazy.
According to the Council for Textile Recycling, the average person throws away 70 pounds of textiles each year. Many designers with fabric believe producing clothing locally can also help reduce waste and pollution. Shireen Dora, a local designer, manufactures her bug-repellent clothing line at the Tempe warehouse.
I really felt pulled to manufacturing domestically because it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Sherry Berry, the co-founder, has more eco-friendly plans for the company's future.
Use textiles that are organically grown and made with organic dyes so that they're not toxic and they don't pollute the environment.
Johnson believes that with a more educated consumer base, fashion incubators like hers will be the wave of the future, making fashion a more sustainable industry. All the resources in the Fabric Building are open to the public, and free consultations with Johnson are available to anyone looking to manufacture clothing.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll learn more about why Arizona's county recorders are not pleased with the Secretary of State's office. And we'll hear an Education Coalition's ideas on the future of school funding.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. Are you addicted to your smartphone? We look at apps designed to keep you glued to your devices. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hayes Mechanical and W.J. Maloney, a division of Hayes Mechanical, provide commercial and residential HVACR and plumbing services, serving customers for over 98 years. Information at hayesmechanical.com or 602-944-5516.
The Arctic Circle. This is one of the most hostile habitats on Earth.
But the planet's most resilient animals survive. Thousands of animals head north to eat their fill, as the shallow seas of the Arctic Circle become some of the richest on Earth.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS.